All right guys, like we talked about in the title of this video, we are going to take our new Lucky snare drum and use the EVANS snare drum tune-up kit. Now, I'm gonna push this aside. I wanna talk about what is included in these tune-up kits. Now, this is the EC reverse dot, and what comes inside is everything that you need to tune up your snare drum and get it sounding dialed in and exactly where you want it. Now, this one comes with an EC reverse dot snare batter head, a snare side 300, and a Pure Sound Blaster series snare strand. So we're gonna go ahead and use all of this today to get this drum tuned up and sounding how we want it to sound. All right guys, so when you get in the box, we open this up, and inside you can see we have the EC reverse dot. Underneath that is a snare side. It also comes with a set of ProMark sticks. Now, I'm a Vader drumsticks artist, but we'll use these to tune up the snare just so we can hear what it sounds like. But it comes with some drumsticks, and I'll go ahead and do the whole unboxing, but really quick, you can see it comes with the snare strand, the 2 snare heads, some maintenance accessories, temporary storage where you can put the actual tension rods while you're doing it, a toolbox including a tuning key, and so you can see here, before you start, wash your hands, get your tools that you need, have a flat work surface like this table here, and make sure that you inspect your snare hardware for faults such as any missing lugs, cracks, or stray debris inside the drum, so that way you can take care of it while you're doing this. It actually goes through step by step, uninstalling the snare drum heads and reinstalling them, as well as how to clean your drum and get it tuned up. Okay, so before we get into the actual tuning, like I said here, inside the box, we have a Blaster series snare strand. This is an awesome snare strand. It's 20 strands, 14 inches, and it's gonna sound awesome on this Lucky snare drum. Then we have a EC reverse dot snare head. I'm really curious to see how this is gonna sound on that copper drum. But again, it's got that reverse dot for durability, the EC control sound ring there, as well as it's got like a hazy finish on the head. It's really cool. And of course, a brand new snare side head, which is gonna go on the bottom of the drum to go ahead and get that tone and sensitivity where we need it to be. Like I said before, inside every one of these snare tune-up kits, you get a pair of ProMark sticks. So ProMark and EVANS are both part of Daddario. So they come with these ProMark drumsticks. Again, I'm a Vader drumsticks artist, so I'm probably not gonna use these, but I will to tune up the drum out here just so we can hear it. And then I will give these away. So stay tuned at the end of the video so you can figure out, again, how to enter in for a giveaway to get these exact same sticks. But there's more. So inside, there's also maintenance accessories, this box here. So if we open this up, we find a couple of things. First things first, we have a microfiber cloth with the EVANS logo on it. I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up, but there it is there with the EVANS logo on it. Great for cleaning off the snare shell, the rims, as well as the tension rods as you're cleaning the drum. Also, it comes with, we talked about these in our EVANS video, but EQ pods. This comes with the 2 pods, the full-size ones, which again are gonna be helpful for muffling and dialing in the amount of tone and sensitivity and sustain you want on the snare drum. We also have lug lubricant, which is really helpful if you're feeling like your lugs are a little crunchy, they're having a hard time tuning into the drum. You can go ahead and use this to make sure they're lubricated and going into the lugs nice and easy, so you're not damaging the drum or forcing them into the tuning lugs. And then lastly, we have some metal polish here. This is used to clean the drum. Again, clean the rims, clean the shell if you need to, clean the tension rods. It's really great to use for cleaning any metal parts of the drum. Now, we have the temporary storage here. We're not gonna use that today because I don't have a lot of room on this table, so we're gonna move this box. But if you're doing this at home, you can actually put your tension rods in this temporary storage location so you don't lose them, so you don't misplace them or find them scattered around your floor like a missing drum key. Last but not least, we also have this toolbox here, which again, I'll zoom in if it doesn't show. The toolbox here includes this drum key that is actually on a swivel, so you can swivel it without having to crank the whole time. I also have, somewhere underneath this mess, there it is, I also have my EVANS torque drum key, which we're gonna use today as well. But that's everything that comes in the box. So again, everything you need to get your drums tuned up and sounding how you want it to sound. What I will also share with you And if you've watched any of my other EVANS series videos, you know this, like every other Daddario product, has the player circle registration code. So make sure that when you're buying these products, you go online to Player Circle and you register them. So that way you can get points towards your next purchase, towards merchandise, gear, sticks, stick bags, any other accessories you can think of. But with that being said, let's pull the drum back over. So again, today we're looking at this brand new Lucky dark copper snare drum. I like to start on the bottom head when I'm doing this. So I'm gonna take off this muffling snare weight, flip the drum over, and what I like to do is just start taking things off. So first things first, to get the snares off. What I'm doing here is I'm going to, showing up the throw off, I'm just loosening these screws here that hold the thread in place. I'm just gonna pull that out, just like that. I'm gonna do that to the same thing on the other side, to the butt plate, right here. And I know it's not really showing, kind of, I'll zoom in right there, but the butt plate's right there. So again, we're gonna loosen that. Same thing, pull this strand out, and just like that, the old snare strand is off the drum. Now we're just left with the resonant head. Okay, so you can use your own drum key or the one it comes with. Let me show you how the one it comes with works. You just put it right on the lug or the tension rod like that, and then just like a swivel, you just like that. Nice and easy. A lot of guys like to use two at the same time so they can have even tension as they're taking it off, just like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and take this head off with this key. I'll take the batter head off with this key. So let's go ahead and get this head off. What I like to do to take the head off though is I'll go in a star pattern diagonal from whatever lug I'm working on. That way the tension is released evenly and you're not seeing a situation where the snare could potentially bend, the rim could bend, you could lose a little bit of the round in the rim. I don't want any of that to happen, so I'm gonna go diagonally and then I skip a lug. So I'm on this lug now. I'm gonna skip this one and go to this one, loosen it up, come across, loosen this guy up. All right, so now that we have all the tension rods out, I can take the hoop right off. It's very light. It feels really great. You can also see the cutouts for the snares right there, if it'll focus, probably not. But for a snare drum, they have the cutouts for the snares right there. So we'll put that over to the side. And this snare side head is just a little used. I know that this drum was sitting in a showroom, so we're gonna put a brand new snare head on it. But let me grab the camera. I want to show you the inside of the shell. It's so cool looking, unfinished copper. You can see the heat from him working it. There's my buddy Josh's signature in there, showing that this is a drum that he built. But I mean, this is a beautiful drum, and it's so interesting because you can see he rolls the metal and then rivets it together. So it's a true piece of copper, and that's why it has so much, you can actually feel it too, but that's why it has so much voice and activity when you're hitting the drum. All right, let's get back to the tune-up. All right, let's get back to the tune-up now that we've seen the inside of the drum. But again, just such a cool looking drum. All right, so now that we have the head off, what we're gonna do now is put the new snare side head on. And that is gonna be this guy here. So snare side heads are usually very thin. And the reason why is you're trying to make sure you get the most sensitivity possible from your snare side head. So they're typically very thin and they're typically tuned pretty tight. So now that we have that, we're gonna put that on. I'm not going to clean the metal on this drum because one, I like this kind of rustic finish it has, but then two, it's a brand new drum. So there's not a lot to clean on here. In fact, all the tension rods still have polish on them. So again, you don't always need to put polish on your lugs if they don't need it. But in this case, they don't, so I'm not gonna put it on, but now I can save that lug lubricant for the next time. I am gonna go ahead and just give this a once over with a wipe because I got a lot of fingerprints on it, on the rim, and I'm just using the microfiber cloth it came with to do that. Now, when you put a snare side rim on, you need to make sure the cutouts on the snare hoop line up with the throw off and the butt plate, because that's where the straps are gonna go through to mount your snare strands. So I've got that on. We're in a good spot here. I'm gonna get these guys finger tight. So again, I just put them in place and we're gonna go finger tight. That's it. Now what I like to do is I'll get the bottom head changed first before I even start with the snare strand. And the reason why is I want it to be as tuned as possible and as tight as possible so I know how tight to make the snare strand to get the sensitivity that I want. I'm also gonna apply a little bit of pressure to the head right here just to make sure it's seated properly. You kind of hear it cracking along, and then I'm gonna go back, just make sure we're finger tight, okay? So there we go, we are finger tight. Now, these had a lot of lubricant on them, so I've got it all over my fingers right now. Just kind of wiping this all off, but let's hear where we're at. Here, I'll lift it up a little bit. So right off the bat, you can hear we got some loose guys up here, right over here. A little loose right here. And I'll just kind of go diagonal. This guy's loose right here. I think we're pretty good. Again, I'm gonna use this just to kind of show you what it sounds like. So yeah, we've got a nice tone right there. So I'm gonna leave that right where it's at. Also, not a sponsor, but I need a little bit of DC in my life. Shout out to Matt Horn, good friend of mine. Anyway, now what we're gonna do is put on the Blaster Series Pure Sound snare strand. This is another one though under the player circle, you guys, that has that code that you can use to get those reward points. Okay, so we got our snare strand, came with our straps right here, and there again is that player circle reward right here on the inside. Again, I'm already gonna redeem this before you guys see it, but don't miss out on that. It's a great opportunity. With our snare strand, what I like to do is I like to loosen up my throw off quite a bit, and then that way when I get the snare strand, I'll pull it as relatively tight. I can dial it in pretty easily once I get them mounted. So really simple though. We're gonna do one side first, and here is our strap, right? On the actual strand, there's a little hole at the very top. Not sure if that's gonna show on the camera, but you just slide it right through. What I like to do is find the middle point and kind of see that there's no overlap there. And then I just kind of pinch it. And I do that so that way it somewhat keeps its shape. And then I'm gonna slide this through the hole on the rim and then slide this through the butt plate. So it's just going right through the butt plate. And I'll pull it relatively tight, maybe 1/8 of an inch of space between where the end of the snare strand is and where the beginning of the snare shell is. I'm gonna stand up just so I can continue to show you guys. I've got this pretty tight. Tighten that up. All right, nice and tight. Perfect. Now we're gonna come to the other side, which is where the actual throw off is. I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Put it through the hole here, find that middle point and fold it so you get a crease right there, and we're just gonna put this in here, just like that. I'm gonna kind of, not too tight, because the snare's off right now. The throw off, you can see that, the throw off's off. So I'm not gonna do it too tight. I'm just barely putting any pressure on how much I'm pulling. And I'm just gonna get this tight so it's held in place. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so you can see, once I turn this on, it's still a little loose for me. You can actually hear that probably. Look, nothing, but I made this very loose on purpose. So as I turn and tighten it, very tight. Perfect. All right, so we've got the bottom of the drum done. Look how easy that was. We've been filming for maybe 15 minutes. Got the bottom done. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to the batter side head. And here we go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this off and then we'll go from there. What's cool, really quick though, what's cool about this torque drum key is it's magnetic. If you can see that, the tension rod is literally stuck to the drum key. The battery about to die. All right, so the camera died, but we're back. And we've got our lucky drum here. And just got all the tension rods off the batter side. So we're gonna take the hoop off, perfect. Put that to the side. And again, this came with an Remo Emperor white suede. It sounded pretty okay in the room, but not really my preference. So we're gonna put this brand new EVANS EC reverse dot snare drum head on. And again, it's really cool. It's clear, kind of like a frosted coating. It's got the reverse dot here, as well as, again, the control sound ring on there. So we're gonna throw this right on. Perfect. I love that about EVANS drum heads. So it's something that I think is easily taken for granted, but they fit every drum perfectly. There's no trying to figure out how to get it seated. There's no trying to figure out, you know, whether or not it's gonna fit on the shell or the bearing edge. Every single time it fits perfect. So anyway, I digress. With that being said though, let's go ahead and get this rim kind of cleaned off before we get it up back on the drum. So again, this was a show drum, so it was in the Atlanta drum shop. And Josh and the good guys over there were great enough to get this sent over to me so I could get this tuned up, get it in the kit, and use it in the arsenal here at Arizona Drummer. So we're gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up. These things come in handy so much. What's great about the tune-up kit is you can use all the stuff in it more than once. So it's well worth the investment. Get this guy in place, perfect, looking great. Now what we're gonna do is get these tension rods back into finger tight. So I'll be back when that's done. My Thorbert Downey Jr., my Thorpey boy. He's my sweet cheese. He's my good time boy. And my bunny girl. Hi, bunny girl. Hi. So I have two dogs. One is named Thor. He's big, blonde, and beautiful. One is named Bunny, and she's none of those things. Just kidding, you're beautiful. I love you. I love you, little bunny. Okay guys, so we are now at finger tight, so we're gonna go ahead and press on the head, make sure it's seated properly. I like to put down, again, the microfiber cloth or whatever, just to, you know, make sure I'm not getting fingerprints all over the brand new head, but we're just pushing down on it. Pretty decent force, but there we go. And when you do that, typically the tension rods get a little loose, so I just go back, make sure one more time, we're finger tight. And I like my snare heads pretty cranked, so that's what we're gonna do today. Let's just go ahead and do a tap test, see what we hear. Right off the bat, that guy's a little low. Still a little low for me, let's keep going. All right, I think with that, we should be there. So, snare's back on. Yeah, that sounds pretty great. So now that we've got our snare tuned up with our tune-up kit, got brand new snare strands, brand new snare side, and a brand new batter side head. All right guys, if you want to hear what this sounds like now that it's tuned up with new heads, make sure to click the link below where I actually unboxed this drum from my friend Josh and the Lucky Drum Co, as well as our friends over at the Atlanta Drum Shop. Make sure to click the link there so you can hear what this sounds like after we get it all tuned up and back on the kit.